Welcome aboard. I'm Johnny Fox, able seaman, port watch. The crew has given me the nickname of Wolf because I am always sniffing around the galley. For the next 17 days, you will be sharing firsthand our assorted activities on Dorade as she races relentlessly across 2,900 miles of the capricious North Atlantic to a thrilling destiny. It is my pleasure to help you understand a very wonderful experience. Here we are in Brenton Cove, where we've been for a couple of days to get examined and inspected by the race committee, take care of assorted odds and ends to get ready. And we are ready, and we are just now on this hazy, lazy 4th of July morning getting underway to go out under tow to the to the starting line at Brenton's Reef Lightship. These are assorted yachts in Brenton's Cove and the entrance to Newport Harbor. You see, since this is 1931, some very large yachts of the so-called old style. And here we are under tow behind Mr. Moore's Sienna. That's the Wanda Bird. She's not in the race, but went over with a paid crew and spent summer over there. The Mistress schooner is in our race. The Aloha, the big bark, Arthur Curtis James of the Saturday Evening Post early days, is among the spectators. The Lismore with Big Catch was in our race. The Maytinis, an English boat that came over to go back in the race. The Landfall, a Big Catch, owned by Paul Hammond of Oyster Bay, New York. That's the Maytinis again up close as we just kind of circle around before the start. The Aloha was quite a sight and the center of attention. The Water Gypsy, a schooner, is up there to windward. The big cutter Highland Light from North Shore in Boston is in the race. The Scratch Boat. The Ilex, sailed by British Army engineers. There's the Landfall coming up close by. Some of the spectators on the nearby Coast Guard patrol boat. And we're circling around just as though we were out for a day's sail. This little boat called the Otto, little sloop from Estonia, sailed across the ocean and just shows that almost any size can do it if it's done right. There's the Ilex again with a kind of the older-fashioned gaff-headed rig. The Mistress, very fine, fast ocean racing schooner. The Mother Goose was one of the committee boats out to help get the start. There's Mistress coming up close with George Roosevelt waving at us. And we're still just circling around, waiting for a noon start. You can see it's a very, very light breeze and an ideal way except for some fog out beyond, and that will be something we'll encounter quite a ways over. Start may not appear to be very important in a race like this, but it gets everybody worked up, and a good start is always a good omen. Now, here we are right on the starting line. The Mistress is over first. Then comes Highland Light and the Water Gypsy from Baltimore, beautiful schooner up to windward of us. We were really fourth at the start. Others coming up from astern. The Highland Light moving along in great shape. and if it was going to be this way all the way over, she would certainly be way ahead of us. This now is on board. These pictures, as you'll be seeing, are not all completely in line with events. As we went along, we took shots. Mr. Stevens was, of course, the head cameraman, and he tried to get shots of various activities as he could. Here's our wonderful cook, Eddie Costa, coming in with our first hot meal as we go along in a fairly light breeze. And Mr. Stevens, the Commodore as we called him, Olin and Rod's father, making up some so-called baggy wrinkle. That is a device for chafing gear to wrap around our either our various lines or fittings to prevent chafe from the sails and wearing them down. And Mr. Stevens is going to show you what his impression is of the length of time it's going to take in the race and what we will look like as we get along the way, possibly all the way. Turned out that that was not the winning beard. There's Buck Moore at the helm and Jim Merrill taking the last and only real bath as he experienced a slight chill and decided that that was enough for this particular operation. There's a good shot of the cockpit and some of the crew standing by. You see it wasn't all hard work. The cook is the center of admiration. Buck Moore and I were both very friendly with the cook. We break up now. Our crew was divided into two watches, a port and starboard watch, and with 3 men each. The cook did not stand a particular watch on deck, but he was on the go at any time and all times. This shows the easy life it can be, helping the cook peeling some potato, the Commodore reading from Philip's Oppenheim book of mystery detective stories, Omnibus of Crime. Olin Stevens in the after end of the party with our mizzen set and going along still, not too much breeze, but worked out to be a comfortable kind of beginning because the sea and wind were not too tough and we all got used to it pretty quickly, so when it got worse we were all right. On about the morning of the 4th day we heard a big steamer whistle, thick fog, didn't know what it was, but finally they came out of the fog running right near us but going by with enough room to spare, so we weren't worried. We couldn't help wondering what the situation would have been at the middle of the night because we thought that he probably had seen the top of the sail at the top of our mast, which was about 80 feet high, and took turn to move away a little bit when he saw that. Now we've set the big light spinnaker, and Rod has gone aloft a bit to take a look down at the deck, the cockpit layout, and then he shinnied out on the spinnaker pole and caught Dorade as she spun along with a very nice breeze off our quarter. She was a pretty boat and very, very fast, and Olin's, I think, number 7 design was just really a beautiful job. There is another light moment aboard. You see how easy it is, a game of chess. And it didn't get very far because there was a lot of help given by other members of the crew whenever a move was made. Here we have some dolphins swimming very closely to us, underneath, kind of looking up at us and having fun. And then as we sailed along, the sun came up, the fog burned off a bit. Those of us that had oilskins on took them off. The main boom stopped dripping water from the night fog, and we were settling in for a very nice race.